Timothy put his colors, the reds, greens, oranges, blues, yellows, and purples, as bright and alive as the pirouetting fire as it licks out a jungle leaf, with beads of dew rolling off. Beneath a blazing, glowing sunset, above the bottomless ocean, its deep-sea waters gleaming in 100 different versions of sapphire and jade, where flashing schools of fish travel together under the intense sun. As day turns to night, and the moon steps out once more from behind a curtain of velvet and amethyst, velvet for the softness and the royalty, amethyst for the depth of the sky. He put his colors in the box, one final time, after one final drawing, color to the paper, the colors spiraling out of his control, yet he never attempted to restrain them. The plastic warm to his touch, the paper crisp and ready, finally realizing what he was creating after all. He was giving all this up for his graduation from everything world. From now on, he would be a man, and men do not have time for things such as coloring. And so Timothy slipped from his imagination as if he was sinking through a cloud, and he fell through the sky until he hit the hard concrete, his skin slapping the sidewalk of Unworld, where most adults live. It is noisy and crowded, everyone wearing clothes that reek of sepia, with black hats pulled over their heads, and only large pointed noses showing, blind to the world, only know where they're going because they've gone that way 1,647 times before, muttering unintelligible nonsense that sounded like wank, 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 wank. They stomp flat-footedly, shoulders swaying down the sidewalk.
Oh my God, yes!
Timothy went to the local grease monkey and got a job, for that is what adults do, you know. He put on a sepia jumpsuit and a white cap someone thrust onto his head. One does not know how he was supposed to fix cars. But each morning at 5 o'clock, he buttoned his shirt and brushed the dust, not that there was any, off his hat. And Timothy grew up to be a man who spent his life staring at the inside of a white hat. And then one day, Timothy walked to his grease monkey duties, to work. It might have been the headache, it might have been the stew, it might have been the change of the inside of the hat. Timothy stopped. He thought back, which he hadn't done since, well, when, and realized his hat had been different. It was black of black. Timothy always assumed there were others with hats with black of black, but now he wasn't so sure. He realized now, leaning against a concrete building, all everyone else saw was black. They relied on repetition, the buzzing of alarm clocks, having the same routine every day. But Timothy, he tilted his chin up. Today was different than most days. It was less of the monocolor he saw every day, and more of something different. Timothy could see a ball of glowing from the inside of his hat, and through the stitches of the inside of his hat, specks practically invisible of, well, what was it? It was something he hadn't seen since Timothy ripped the hat from his head. He never knew he could take it off. Light flooded his eyes, and he had to cover them for a moment as they adjusted. Once more he gazed up, and all there was blue. That's what it was. Blue, 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 blue. And the ball of glowing, the sun. And oh, it sparkled. Timothy looked around. All these people with hats on their heads, covering their faces, their eyes. They couldn't see, they were blind. Oh, how foolish. Timothy could practically feel a rumbling in his belly, made its way up to his throat. Tears, that's what they're called, rolled down his face, and he wiped them off with the backs of his hands. Oh, there was not one moment to waste. There was something he must do. He must find his way back. back to his box. He must find his way back to his box of colors. He knew he must find his way back to the small, now dusty, square cardboard box, decorated in midnight blue fingerprints, adorned with fuchsia ink, embellished with glitter like golden twinkling stars, covered in pink globs of avocado in morning sunlight, sealed with clear packing tape. On the top shelf in the corner of the September sky closet he had as a child. Violet crayon scribbles behind where the shirts used to hang. A dark bottle green stain on the old yellow carpet. Imprints with a tomato bed, auburn dresser, mauve desk, and sunshiny side table sat for 18 years, though the mauve desk only for 6. Imprints are almost gone. It takes many things for Timothy to go back. Learning to fly for 1, sailing in a paper boat for 2, erasing his left foot for 3, making a sentence out of apostrophes for 4, building an invisible castle for 5, jumping into a chalk drawing for 6, slicing time with a jagger for 7, and conversing politely with the birds for 8. And how are you today? Fine? Wonderful. As for my day... But somehow, he's able to go back. Back to that town, though it was lazy. That street, though it inspired no inspirations. That house, though it was old and dim and hollow. That room, the one place Timothy created to be his own entirely. Like a sponge soaking up all of Timothy, like the paper soaked up his dreams. Back to that closet, with hidden messages drawn in light blue marker on the September sky paint. And able to pull down the box, blow the dust off the top, and open the box. That's the hardest part. But once he does, he finds the colors he once drew with as a child. He sits on the floor, takes out a piece of paper worn from his journey, from his pocket, and he drew. And the color was new and alive again.